Hey everyone, welcome back. Hope you guys are having a great Wednesday. Markets were kind of crazy today. So in the beginning, they were a little bit up, at least for Bitcoin and Ethereum. Miners were up, but then towards the end of the day, things went south. So we'll look at what's going on in the markets, Bitcoin and Ethereum as well. We'll take a look at with the Bitcoin miners. It was just a crazy day. A lot of them were down more than 10%. So we'll look at all that data that we do have. And then we're also going to take a look at the top miners in December's. So this is based on 7 metrics that we usually use along with 5 metrics. And then we'll give you guys all the results on those. I was kind of surprised by the results on that one. And then also, before we get into all that, we still got to talk about Greenidge. Are they in trouble with their operations? We'll take a look at their latest SEC filings. It looks like they're kicking the can down the road a little bit longer, but I don't know how much longer they're going to be able to, okay? So as always, you guys know the drill here. Not financial advice, for entertainment only. Do your own research. Don't fall for scams. And I'm investing in following coins and companies for full disclosure. And also, if you guys enjoy this type of content, please hit the like button, subscribe, helps me out. Okay, so let's take a look at the markets here right now. So the markets were down today 1.56% for the S&P. Dow Jones was down 1.81%. to 33,296. NASDAQ was also down 1.27% to 11,410. Bitcoin was down 2.19%. We closed at 20,674 before we reached a high today of 21,650. This was a new high that we reached here recently. And then we've had a pretty good pullback. I think this is kind of healthy a little bit. I'd like to see the daily go down a little bit more, but we are seeing it on the 4-hour and the 1-hour chart. So RSI has continued to come nicely down here. We are going up a little bit now, but it's still good to have it come down to the 50 range, which I kind of said that in yesterday's video. I'd like to see that to come down to 50, and it did. We're kind of bouncing off of that. We'll see if that continues or if we're going to fall a little bit more. If we do fall a little bit more, I'm going to probably continue dollar cost averaging, not financial advice, but I would actually take that sale. So on the 1-hour chart, we're looking at the same thing. We've been kind of bouncing here off the almost oversold, right around 30 here on the line on the RSI, and you can see it here, but we've been going down in price, so we'll see if we get a little bit of a reversal or if we're going to fall a little bit more in price in the next couple hours to tomorrow. We'll see how that all goes. Okay, now Ethereum here on the daily was down. Let's see, Ethereum was down 3.5%. It closed at 1,510. We hit a high of 1,612. And RSI has come down a little bit here to the 70 mark, which is pretty good. We're still a little bit in the oversold or overbought territory on Ethereum. If you look at the forward chart, RSI has come down nicely. We're in the kind of neutral zone at 42. So that's a good sign there as well, along with the 1-hour chart has gone below the 30 mark on the RSI. It has bounced off of it a little bit. So that's also a good sign here that we do have possibly more room to run up again, if that happens, okay? So that's the NASDAQ, Dow Jones, S&P 500, and the Bitcoin and Ethereum. Let's take a look at the miners. The miners, even though Bitcoin was only down a couple percentage points, the miners got whacked today. Possibly a lot of profit taking going on here. So if we look at Annie was down 19.31% to 36, almost 37 cents. Argo was down 8.79% to $1.66. Bit Digital was down 12.14% to $1.23. Bitfarms was down 12.73% to 96 cents. CleanSpark was down 6.99% to $2.53. Core was down 17.62 to 8 cents. DigiHost was the only exception here. They were up 12.38% to $1.18. DMG was down 18.46% to 19 cents. Greenidge was down 21.33% to 77 cents. And Hive was down 14.76% to $2.83. Hut 8 was down 17.93% to $1.51. Iris Energy was down 1.54% to $1.92. Mara was down 17.44% to $6.91. Mawson was down 2.4% to 40 cents. Riot was down 10.92% to $5.71. And Soluna was down 14.02% to 43 cents. And TerraWolf was down 12.13% to 89 cents, almost 90 cents on that one. So those are the miners. Pretty bad day for them. But I kind of like it that we did come down a little bit. I'm hoping it'll come down a little bit more. I can dollar cost average in. And then we'll, it's going to be a choppy waters here for the next couple of months, I think, with Bitcoin and the miners, and possibly good buying opportunities if you haven't already gotten down pretty low towards the bottom that we possibly reached here last week, the week before. Okay, so that's the miners. Network hash rate. Let's see if anything has changed on it. Okay, it has gone up a little bit more here to 272 million right now. Terahashes on the 7-day average. If we look at the 1-day average, we are at 291. So not too big of a spike up from where we were the day before, but still a little bit of a spike up. So that's it. Let's take a look at Greenidge. So Greenidge provided this release. This was from December 23rd. So we're going to kind of reference this a little bit here to get our bearings straight. So in that one, they provided that they owed NYDIG. They also owed B. Riley, and that they were going to be late on their payment. So this is for a payment that was due on the 25th of December. If they paid it, so the payment that was going to be late on the 25th of December would not be an event of default if the payment were made in full by January 10th. So they had until January 10th to pay it. And the B. Riley one, that one was supposed to be due the 20th of December. And that one would not be in default if they made a full payment earlier of January 16th, which that has already come and gone. They provided us with a release yesterday, I believe it was. Let's see, when was this? Actually, it's pretty old. January 10th, we were at 18th, so about a week ago. At that time, they stated that let me see here. Is this the NYDIG one? NYDIG, yeah. So NYDIG was supposed to be due. When was that supposed to be due? That was supposed to be due on the 10th. We already passed that. They basically filed that on the 10th, and that they are pushing that out to January 20th, so an extra 10 days. So if they failed to pay by that time, this would not be a default if the payment were made in full by January 20th. And then the B. Riley one was going to be January 20th, where it should have been January, I think, 16th as well. Excuse me. Yeah, January 16th on that one. So then we got kicked down the can, down the road a little bit by 4 days to January 20th as well. And we were only 2 days away from that. So we'll see if they actually are able to make payment on that, or if they're going to be defaulting on it. So that's kind of something interesting we're going to have to watch. It's about 2.5 million in payments they have to make. We don't have any information on them as far as what they have been mining in November, December, which is also concerning. So we don't know if they made any kind of revenue during that period to possibly pay this off. So we'll see. Might be that they might be going into default, possibly. I don't know. We'll see. We got 2 more days, and then we'll find out possibly either Friday or on Monday. Okay? So that was it. I just wanted to keep you guys aware of that. And let's take a look at the metrics here. So for December metrics. So these are your typical metrics that we normally use: month-over-month hash rate growth, current hash rate growth, Bitcoins, or current hash rate, Bitcoins per exahash. We're also looking at the month-over-month BTC mined percentage increase. Did they increase? Did they decrease? The number of BTC that they did mine, days that they were mining for, and then their HODL position. So this is the 7 metrics. And then the 5 metrics don't use the HODL position or the current hash rate. They just use the month-over-month hash rate growth. We're kind of looking just at the monthly production efficiencies possibly. Okay, so here's what we came up with. Month-over-month percentage hash rate growth, higher is better. So Sphere came in number 1, 265% for the month. TeraWolf number 2 at 55% growth. Riot had a 25% growth, so they're in number 3 spot. CleanSpark in the number 4 spot with 12.73% growth. And DMG was in the 5th spot at 9.56%. Then we got Iris had a little bit of growth of 3.81%, and Bitfarms had 2.1%. Then we had DigiHost, Marathon, Argo, and Mawson pretty much flat. BitDigital went down in hash rate along with Hive and Hut8 as well. Hut8 is battling with the electricity provider right now. So they're down some 650, 700 petahash because of it. Okay, now next is going to be current hash rate. So we know that Riot is number 1. We're not including, what's their name? Core Scientific in this because they are in Chapter 11 bankruptcy. So I didn't think it was fair for everybody else to include them while they're going through that. So if they get out of that later on this year sometime or next year, we'll start including them as well into this and see where they are at that point. We'll still keep track of them though. Okay, but as far as current hash rate, Riot comes in at number 1, 9.7 exahash. Marathon is at 7. CleanSpark is at 6.2. Bitfarms is at 4.5. And then we have a pretty big drop here, almost half of that. As for Hut8, Argo, and then we got TeraWolf at 2.08. Hive is at 2.06, and then we got Iris at 1.5 exahash. BitDigital at 1.2. Mawson is at 1 exahash. DMG is at 917 petahash. DigiHost at 650 petahash. And Sphere 3D is 365 petahash. So the top 5 are Riot, Marathon, CleanSpark, Bitfarms, and Hut8. And then next we have is BTC per exahash, higher is better. So this is where we're looking at the efficiencies on the miners when they're mining throughout the month. I'm looking at the end of the month hash rate and what they mined. This is how I'm getting it. Some use the average, what they started at, where they ended up and using the average for that. I'm using the end of the month hash rate reported. So DMG came in number 1, 114 BTC per exahash, which is really good, followed by Bitfarms came in number 2 at 110. Then we got BitDigital with 105, and then we got Hive at 103. Then fifth spot is DigiHost at 87. Then we got Iris at 81, CleanSpark at 74, Riot at 67, almost 68. Marathon is almost at 68 as well. They're pretty close together. They were doing a lot of curtailment in December. CleanSpark did a little bit too, and we'll look at the days mined. You'll see it there. Hut8 with 64, TeraWolf at 60, Argo at 58, Sphere at 49, and Moss at 23. So our top 5 are DMG, Bitfarms, BitDigital, Hive, and DigiHost for this for the month of December. Then month over month BTC mined percentage increase or decrease in that regard. For that one, we have Sphere 3D with the most increased of 74%, followed by Riot with 26, DMG with 18%, Bitfarms at 9.49. Then we got Marathon with 0.64, and then we have TeraWolf was down 6.72%, so that's our top 5 there. Then we got DigiHost down 7.1%, BitDigital is down 9%, CleanSpark was down 13%, Iris Energy was down 18, Hive was down 19, Argo was down 25, and Mawson was down 31. Okay. And I almost forgot, we're also not including Greenidge in this one because they haven't provided their numbers for November, December, along with Soluna. Haven't provided those, so they're not in the list. BTC mined. So this is how much Bitcoin they mined during the month. Riot, even though they did quite a bit of curtailment, they have mined a lot of Bitcoin, 659. For them, they came in number 1 spot. Bitfarms came in number 2 at 496. Marathon, number 3 spot, 475. CleanSpark at 464, that's the 4th spot. Hive came in number 5 with 213. You can see a huge drop off here from the top, I would say 4 miners, 3 miners or so as far as Bitcoin production is concerned. And then you got a pretty sizable drop in that production here. So Hive 213, Hut8 was 161, Argo 147, BitDigital 130, TeraWolf 125, Iris 123, DMG 104, 59 for DigiHost, 23 for Mawson, and 17 for Sphere 3D. Then we scroll down here, days mined. So this tells us how many days we're mining through the month. Hive came in at number 1 with 31 days, looks like, based on what they reported for the miners that they have, hash rate, and how much they mine Bitcoin. That's kind of how I'm able to figure that out, what the revenue was for the month based on the average Bitcoin price. And then I'm able to figure out how many days they were actually mining that to get to that with what they have installed. So they came in at 31 right now, so they're the best for the month. Bitfarms came in close second here at 30.5. Then we got BitDigital at 28 days, DMG at 26 days, DigiHost at 24, followed by Sphere at 22, then Iris at 22, CleanSpark at 20. Then we got Marathon at 18.6, Riot at 18.6 as well. Hut8 was at 17.5, TeraWolf at 16.45, Argo was at 16, and Mawson was at 6. Mawson was doing a lot of curtailment. So one thing that we can take away from this chart is we can see possibly who is profitable at which range of Bitcoin prices, and if they have to curtail or if there's peak demand for it. Plus, we also had the winter storm at that time, so I can see why some of these are kind of down a little bit. They all pretty much said that they were shutting down operations during that period of time. Okay. Next, we got HODL. So as far as HODL is concerned, we got Marathon with being the top one at 1,232, but they have been what appears to be like selling. I don't know if it is the case or not. There's some speculation that they have been selling quite a bit, and it does look like they've sold quite substantially here if that is the case. I don't know that for a fact. We'll find out when they report for the January production update. But it looks like, based on what's here at least, looks like they sold at least it looks like 1,120 is what it looks like. I don't know if that's the case. But we'll find out. So we'll see what the numbers are for January for them. But that would still keep them up in the first place here, followed by Hut8 at 9,086. Then you got Riot at 6,952. Riot has been doing a mixture of selling and hodling at the same time. Hive has been doing this kind of same thing, but there's a pretty big drop off here to 2,348. And you got BitDigital at 946, DMG with 454, Bitfarms with 405. Bitfarms had quite substantially more of this beginning of the year or towards the middle of the year of 2022. Then when Bitcoin crashed a little bit, they started selling some of their Bitcoin also to pay off some of the Bitcoin debt that was leveraged on Bitcoin. So they sold a substantial amount of Bitcoin during that period. CleanSpark has been always selling and hodling a little bit to fund growth in operations. Argo, same thing, has been doing the same thing. They're at 141 right now. DigiHouse is at 111. Sphere is 103, and then we got Iris that just sells everything. TeraWolf and Mawson as well, and they sell everything that they mine each month on that one. I don't know how I feel about HODL. I don't know how you guys feel about it. I think HODL, I think there's a fine space where you want to HODL a little bit and where you want to sell a little bit. Whether that mixture is 50-50, I'm not sure. Whether it's 60-40, I'm not sure. But there is, I think, a sweet spot in that where it makes sense to do both. I don't like pure HODL. Pure HODL just dilutes shareholders too much, I think. And it's nice when Bitcoin goes up in price because they are going to be able to capitalize on that. But in the meantime, shareholders are getting diluted like crazy. So I'm not a big fan of it. I like the approach of HODL some and sell some as well. Okay, that's just my take. Now, so based on those 7 metrics, we have the final results here. So with everything being accounted for, then we add it all up, and lower number is better on this one. So Bitfarms and Riot are tied for first right now. Marathon came in third for the month of December, followed by DMG at 42 in the third spot. Then you got CleanSpark and Hive battling for the 4th spot. BitDigital came in at the number 5 spot. Then we got TeraWolf and Hut 8 for the 6th spot. Then we got Iris Energy, Sphere 3D, and DigiHost battling for the 7th spot. And then Argo came in at number 8, and number 9 came in at Mawson with the lowest or the highest score of them all, which isn't good. You want the lowest score. So this is with everything included. Now, if we only take the 5 metrics and not include the HODL or current hash rate, because I think those aren't, what's the word I'm looking for? They're not as important when looking at monthly production, I think. They are important in overall, but I think just in the monthly production, we were looking at just the basics here. Growth, how do they do month over month, things like that. I also like to look at this just as is. And Bitfarms came in at number 1 again, with Riot and DMG battling for the number 2 spot. Did they also do it? No, Riot came in first. So Riot and DMG are battling for the number 2 spot. Then you got Hive, BitDigital battling for the 3 spot. CleanSpark came in number 4. Marathon came in number 5. And then you got Sphere 3D with 35. DigiHost at 37. Iris at 39. TeraWolf at 40. And you got Hut 8 and Argo battling for the 2nd to last spot. And Mawson came in last again. Okay. So that is it for the December production updates or metrics, grades, whatever you want to call it. I like to look at these, and these have kind of guided me in the past as far as which miners I want to invest in. But as always, you guys need to do your own research. Do not go off what I'm saying here. And that's it. If you guys enjoyed it, hit the like button. Other than that, we'll see what happens this week. It was a good day to have a little bit of a red day. I think we've been going up too fast in Bitcoin and the miners a little bit. So a nice little pullback, I think, is good. Now, you may not agree with it, but I think it's good. So we'll see what happens this week, and then we'll see what happens the following week. I mean, I think everybody has pretty much posted their December updates except for Greenidge and Soluna. We'll see if they even provide those. They're 2 months behind now. I doubt that they will. So I will possibly have to kick them out of here. I'll still keep track of them, see what happens if they start providing that information or not. And if they do, we'll cover them later on. Other than that, yeah, I mean, we're in the middle of the month right now. We're waiting on quarterly results. Those will be out for another month or so. So it's going to be a little bit slower. I think going forward with videos, we'll see if there's something to cover. If there is, we'll talk about it. If not, we won't do anything on that one. Still working on a video for the mining versus investing in Bitcoin miners. I want to see if I think there is an edge to investing with the Bitcoin miners instead of trying to mine yourself. But I want to do the math on it completely and give you guys some decent data on it. So that's going to be coming up also. I don't know if it's going to be this weekend. We'll see when that one gets done. Okay, but I'm rambling. As always, Spreadsheet is available to Patreon members. Thank you to everyone there. And thank you so much for watching. If you guys enjoyed it, hit the like button, subscribe. Helps me out tremendously. Love you all. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.